getting a little bit scary how you're following me around. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, but I get it. It's very sweet. Once again, thank you so much for showing up on my vacation. Hi, how are you doing? You would like someone to babysit you tonight? Okay. Yeah, I can give a friend a call if that's okay. Yeah. Let me just see if they're available. Would you mind traveling to go there? No, okay. Okay, that's good. Yeah, let me see. Hello. Is this Cozy Cabin?
Hi, Fleur.
Hey, I have my subscribers here with me on vacation, and they followed me, and they would love to be babysat, and I think you would be perfect for it. So would you maybe want to babysit my subscribers tonight?
Me? I would love to babysit your subscribers. Can they come to Washington?
They don't mind traveling.
As long as you're cool with them visiting me in the cabin.
Yeah, it should be fine.
I will take very good care of them, I promise.
Thank you so much. You're gonna be completely fine, okay? She's gonna take great care of you. Alright, I'll see you later. Alright, yeah, they're on their way. Alright, thanks, bye.
Okay, take care. Bye. Hello. 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 And good morning, or afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. My name is Cozy Cabin ASMR. I am so honored that Fleur invited me to this coziest corner of the internet to be your babysitter. I don't have much babysitting experience, but I feel that the key to any successful babysitting gig is to come prepared with activities. I have an assortment of things that we could do together to pass the time until Fleur is back. First option would be that we could bake something together. talks about science, but not in an overly technical way. And I read a lot of it outside, so I was kind of practicing what they were talking about in the book. It was a very calming experience all around. The state of Washington was actually mentioned in the book. There's a project called 1 Square Inch, and it's in the whole rainforest of the Olympic National Park. The purpose of 1 Square Inch is literally one tiny area that has no noise pollution. So the only thing you can hear in this 1 square inch of the whole rainforest is nature. No airplanes, no cars. It's truly just the sounds of nature. And I live in a pretty rural area, but there's always sounds, whether you can hear your neighbors working on something or cars driving off in the distance, occasional airplane, whatever it may be. So to have an area that is silent, I think is pretty magical. So what do you think about the book? Oh, you're not really the biggest nonfiction fan. That's totally fair. Maybe we set this one aside and I have kind of a fun little fiction book if that's more your style. Okay. I have this very old paperback copy of a book called Scavenger Hunt. Scavenger Hunt by Christopher Pike. This book was published in 1989. Check it out. The cover is giving very 80s vibes. If you're not familiar with Christopher Pike, there's kind of like a spooky novel pipeline, at least for kids of the 90s like me. So you start with Goosebumps books by R.L. Stine, and then when you get into like middle school, early teens, you make your way up to Christopher Pike. A little spooky, but still very YA, you know? And then when you're ready to graduate up from Christopher Pike, you make your way to Stephen King. Christopher Pike is definitely a little less scary than Stephen King though, so don't be worried. This one's not too scary to read before bedtime. It says on the back here, the hunt was on. School was almost over. A secretive club on campus had organized a scavenger hunt for the entire senior class. In small groups and with the help of cleverly planted clues, the kids are led through the city and then deep into the nighttime desert. The sponsoring club has promised a wonderful prize for the first group to reach the goal of the hunt. But for Carl Timmons, a troubled young man who has recently lost his best friend, the hunt will become a nightmare. Led astray by his love for a strangely beautiful girl, he will wander far from the others and back into a haunted past. A little mystery, a little intrigue, a little 80s YA moment. I've probably read and reread this book 10 times over the years. I think it's just a also chill